Morning everyone. We're just on a little ride out this morning, heading from Fairway down to the coast. I'm going to work my way along the coast through Hillhead over to Hamble, get myself a coffee. It's quite windy today. Weather's not been that great the last week, so at least it's dry. But for those of you that don't know the area, it's just south of Fareham. You've got coastline stretching from sort of Gosport, which is opposite Portsmouth Harbour, all the way along to Southampton Water. So I'm just making my way down to the coast now, and we'll follow the coast along. And it's quite nice. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. We've got some container ships going out there. There's always something going on in the Solent, and there's some great roads for riding. This is a bit of a tight one, so just taking it easy around the corners there. So yeah, I'm off to Hamble, get myself a coffee. There's a nice pasty place there, a place called Pirates Pasties. They bring them in from Cornwall, so they're proper Cornish pasties, and they're absolutely lovely. And it's about, I don't know, half-hour ride for me, so it's quite nice. Just have a little ride out, nice destination, and get a pasty for lunch at the end of it. So I'm on the Caballero 500 today. I'm sure most of you know all about them already, but if you don't, it's a single cylinder 450cc 4-stroke Scrambler sort of style bike, made by Fantic, which is an Italian brand. Fantic predominantly make off-road bikes, or they did for years, and then they sort of launched the Caballero as their introduction into road bikes, and it's absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love it. It's really sort of punchy, it sort of keeps you interested. You can throw it about, you know, no problems at all. It's really light. I think the weight is 150 kilos around that, so you know it's as light as what you're going to get for a, you know, getting on for a bigger bike. It's great fun to ride, and yeah, I absolutely love it. I've had this for about 6 months now. Yeah, can't fault it. It gets a lot of bad reviews on the bottom end being a bit snatchy. You know, it's quite a common thing for owners to complain about, and I must admit, when I first got mine, I thought it was as well. I found it a bit snatchy at the lower end. But after sort of getting used to the bike, I just adapted my riding style, and I think if you know, adapt to the bike, it's actually fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I think a lot of people, and again, I nearly did it, you know, go out and buy, you can get a heavier flywheel. I think it's around 150 odd pounds plus getting it fitted, and that's meant to smooth out the bottom end, but they didn't actually have any in stock when I was looking at it, so I didn't bother. And then it actually done me a favour, because I just sort of stuck with the bike as it was, and I don't find it an issue at all now. If you're just gentle with that right wrist and the lower revs, it's absolutely fine. And I think the heavier flywheel, it makes it smoother in the bottom end, but I think there is a trade-off with the rest of the rev range. It basically, yeah, just evens out the power, takes it from the top end and puts it in the bottom end. But yeah, now I've got used to it, absolutely fine, no problems. I've done around, it's coming up to 1,000 miles on this bike now, so not too far, but enough to learn its quirks and stuff like that. And yeah, I absolutely love riding it. So if you've never been here before, this is Hillhead Harbour. You know, lots of little sailing boats. It's quite a nice position if you're into sailing. That goes straight out onto the Solent there. You've got Titchfield Haven to my right hand side, and that's been sort of I think some locals are trying to save that. The council were trying to sell it for redevelopment for flats. Same old story really. But I think some local residents have got together and I'm pretty sure they're sort of looking like they're going to save it. It's going to stay operating as a cafe. It's more than just a cafe. I must admit I've never been in there. I think it's got some sort of educational centre in there as well. But yeah, this is Hillhead. Yeah, so that's Southampton Water out there. That's the container ship. Quite often get like cruise liners and stuff like that coming out, and you've also got little red funnel Isle of Wight ferry over there. This part of the country, you're sort of spoilt for the Isle of Wight connections really. You've got red funnel at Southampton. You've got red funnel at Southampton and you've got white link at Portsmouth. I think red funnel's cheaper, or tends to come out a bit cheaper, but it's a longer crossing. I think it's about an hour, and it's a bit more tricky to get to because Southampton, you've got all the other cruise ferry ports, so it can, if you get the wrong time, it can be ridiculously busy. Whereas Portsmouth, where the Isle of Wight ferry is, you know, you're sort of straight in, and it's only a 40-minute crossing. So I tend to go with, oh, let's wait for him. I tend to go with White Link. Where I can. Yeah, you can't really see over this bridge, although I've got right of way. You can't, to be fair to everyone else, they can't see until you're committed onto the bridge. So there's no point getting precious about it. And these, it is quite tight all around here, so it's just worth taking your time. And it's also this particular road that I'm on, it's very popular with sort of dog walkers and stuff like that, so just take it easy. But it's one of my favourite routes. I quite like coming this way, sort of hug the coast all the way along. So yeah, this is a national speed limit road, believe it or not, but it is. Open it up a bit there, just hear the Caballero pulling. It's such a forgiving bike. You can open it up in pretty much any gear. You know, if I was in top gear now, it would still pull if I opened up the accelerator. You know, if you're new to riding or anything like that, it's a fantastic first bike. Like I say, it's so forgiving, so light, and just smiles per mile. You know, excellent value for money. I absolutely love it. I used to ride motocross when I was a kid, so maybe I'm slightly biased towards these kind of bikes, but yeah, I absolutely love it. When I was in my sort of mid-20s, I got myself a Triumph Daytona 600. Very quick and, you know, lovely to look at, but I just didn't like it. I just felt like it was going to kill me. I only kept it for about 6 months, and that put me off biking for years. I think well, I've only just been back into biking for just over a year, in my early 40s, so a good sort of 15 years it put me off. And after getting this Caballero, I sort of wish I'd thought about it a bit more at the time and gone for something that was a bit more suited to my taste. But these Caballeros, this is so they do different models. They do the basic Scrambler model. This is a Scrambler Anniversary edition, so it comes with yeah, a few accessories on it. It's got some different graphics. Don't know if you can see that on the tank, the Italian flag. See, I was in a too high gear then, but it pulled away, no issues at all. Yeah, I think it had some other extras on it, like a headlight guard and radiator guard and stuff like that. Then they do the deluxe version, which my dad seems to, there's a builder there. Thought it was one of those community speed checkers. Yeah, my dad's got a grey. The Deluxe is grey with sort of brown trims, brown seats, grips. He's got the 125, and I must say, when I got in his 125, I was a bit like, that 125 is going to be boring. Absolutely lovely bike, so smooth, nippy. You know, feels exactly the same as this, but without that. Oh, got a road closure here. But without that extra power. But if you're a learner, or riding on a CBT I should say, it's a fantastic bike. Also, an old friend of mine sort of stumbled across him on the Caballero UK group. He's got one as well, and he absolutely loves it. There's not much not to like really. It's lovely. And then you can get going back to the 500, you can get like a rally version, which I think is a bit higher. It's got a bit more sort of uprated suspension. That's more sort of geared around if you're sort of like looking to do more proper sort of trail riding, or even just, you know, off-road riding. Okay, so the diversion's taken us, well, it's quite good actually, because you get to see Titchfield Village now. So if you're not from this area, Titchfield Village is typical sort of older village. I don't tend to come here a lot. I just find it is quite tight for parking and stuff like that, but it is very nice, as you can see. You know, a lot of old buildings, and you know, they're quite they've always got sort of flags on the buildings, and Christmas time, you know, they'll put like Christmas trees up. I don't know if you can see those little posts on the buildings. They'll get full of Christmas trees, and they pretty much do the whole village. But yeah, coming here, it's not so bad in the bike I suppose, but in the car, yeah, it's I tend not to bother unless I have to. But yeah, this is Titchfield if you've not seen it. Yeah, everyone's a little bit impatient because of the diversions and stuff like that. But this would take us out through the top of the village. That's the first time ever I found that other bit of road closed. Oh yeah, I know where we are now. So this takes us back onto the main A27. Not as scenic. In fact, I'll try and avoid this road because it's just full of people rushing about and one of those roads you go on if you have to, rather than for scenic reasons, but it does the job. So what I'll do, I'll leave the video there and I'll bring it back on when we get a bit closer to Hamble. Otherwise you'll just get bored, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so we're now just entering Hamble. It's quite a busy road getting in and out because it's pretty much just the one road, and it doesn't just serve Hamble, it branches off, but yeah, we'll follow this and it will take us into the little village centre right on Southampton Water. Weather's not improved. I mean, it's okay, it's just quite windy and overcast. So new bike coming to the channel soon. It'll be got a Honda Monkey, so I'll be doing a couple of ride outs on the Honda Monkey, as well as some sort of further trips on the Caballero. I was out on the Caballero yesterday. I went up to Lumi's Caf, if you know where that is. If you don't know where it is, it's A32 heading north from sort of Fareham. When it hits the A272, a place called Meon Hut, you've got a sort of BP garage there, and the Caf called Lumi's. Most people in the area sort of know of it, even if they've never been there, just because generally if the sun's out, you know, could have up to 200 bikes out the front. It's a really popular destination, and mainly because it's got really nice roads leading to it pretty much from whatever direction you come from. So yeah, I went there yesterday, had a breakfast. It was met a friend there, but it was pretty dead, to be honest. There was only about, I don't know, 10-15 bikes, if that. Yeah, it was the weather wasn't great. I think it rained while I was in there, but then I was dry on both my journeys. But yeah, the rain tends to keep people at home, which it depends what you want, because in some ways it's nice because it's quiet, you know, you can get straight in there, you know, choice of tables and stuff like that. When it's busy, you know, you'll be lucky to get a table, so sometimes it's got its benefits going when everyone else is staying at home. So we're sort of not far from the village centre now. This road will sweep round to the left in a minute, and drop us down into the village centre. Again, if you've not been there, it's quite nice to get it on the video because it is very, very nice. One of my favourite pubs there for going out for dinner, the Bugle Inn. Really nice food. Again, the only downside, if you don't live in Hamble, it's a bit tricky to get to. Sort of good sort of you know, taxi ride each way, so with the cost of everything going up, you know, you've got to factor that in. But now and then, as a, you know, on a birthday or something, it's quite nice. If you come over by foot, if you're not on the bike or in the car or whatever, it's there's a little pink ferry that runs from Warsash near Locks Heath, and that runs you across the Hamble River into onto the sort of main jetty at or pontoon at Hamble. I think it's about £3 each way last time I used it, but it's, again, it saves you driving all the way round, and it's quite cool, you know. Hop on the ferry, you know, you sort of in amongst all the sailing boats for 5 minutes. I really enjoy it. Local fire station there. I can't imagine they see much action. Okay, so we're just dropping down into the village now. Oh, more road closures. Oh, sorry, we didn't need to go that way. We're going to head down and around. Got it. Yeah, it's quite a nice little little village. Definitely a bit different. That's why I'm going for my pasties in a bit. There's the Bugle pub I was telling you about. And there we go, and there is the marina. And again, just follow this round. And they actually have a motorcycle bay, and it's free. So that is it. I'll do a couple of photos and a little video just showing you around Hamble. But thanks for joining me on the ride, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.